Welcome to the pod, Drew from Tricer USA, Drew Miles out of San Diego.
The whale's vagina. So it's Tricer, not Tricer USA.
Oh, why is that?
Because the company name is just Tricer. We are
Where did I get that from?
probably from me getting bashed for having Tricer USA as my Instagram handle the last couple of weeks.
Well, let's get into it. What? Who bashed you? Was it my friend Matt Allwine?
I don't want to go straight into that.
You don't? I
Come
figured you just ripped the
on.
Band-Aid off. Well, Matt, when you're watching this, you were invited. I texted you yesterday, and I called you on my way here this morning just to see. Matt lives about an hour and a half away from here. If you'd like to come on here and face-to-face with you. Have not heard from him, but we are on a time crunch, so we got into it. But yeah, man, Matt is my friend. Unfortunately, you guys are not friends at the moment, which I guess we'll just rip the Band-Aid off. Like, what happened, man? This is your side of the story, obviously.
Oh, man, I don't know. I didn't know we were going to do this.
I didn't either.
I'm not a drama person.
I love drama.
I pretty much get along with everyone, right? But this will definitely get clicks. Yeah, so my webpage was Tricer USA. Because when I started my company, I had no money. I mean, I had a few $1,000s to my name, and everything I had went into building my products. So Tricer USA was the only domain I could get because somebody owned Tricer.com. So
what was that website?
Tricer USA was our website, but our
Well,
name
what was the other Tricer one about?
They just owned it. It was nothing. So
One of those just like, we'll buy the domain and sit on it.
And sit on it, yeah. So
don't you hate that?
Oh, dude,
somebody has a domain right now. You saw that reminder on my computer.
Yeah, for Elk Hunt.
Well, it's Elk Hunter, and it's the way I spell it on my logo.
Oh, is it?
ELKHUNTR, no ER. And I didn't come up with that. The graphic designer who made the logo 8 years ago, and I'm like, I like that. And I was like, the other day I was like, man, I was honestly thinking about rebranding, Drew. Like, I was like, a lot of people don't get what ELKSHAPE is, and to me, it's a lifestyle, but I feel like Elk Hunter, it's already on the logo. I could just, like, I will change my handle on Instagram. I'll change the website, elkhunter.com, spelled that way. And some dude has purchased the domain, and he has the Instagram, and it's like, I can tell he got it from me, if that makes sense. Okay? And I thought about reaching out, and then I thought about, like, trying to buy it from him, and then I was just like...
You almost want someone to reach out that doesn't have your... So when we did it, we ended up buying Tricer.com last year.
Oh, you did?
We did buy it. It cost me $8,000 because now we have the money to buy it, right? So we bought it because the last thing we wanted to do...
That's not terrible.
It's not bad at all.
I thought it'd be more than that. Okay.
Yeah, and we did it without using our Tricer emails, right? 'Cause we want them to see Tricer reaching out to them, right? So we did it through like different emails.
Smart.
And we bought it for $8,000. But at the time, that was like, we didn't know if this was going to make it, right? We first went into business. And then... So we ended up buying Tricer.com. So everything switched over to Tricer.com. None of our packaging says Tricer USA. It just, that was the only way we can get a website and get this thing up and going. Then on Instagram, some guy named like Tom Ricer or something has not been active since like 2016. I've messaged him multiple times, like, hey, I want to buy your domain.
He doesn't even know what messages are.
Doesn't even know what messages are.
He's a boomer. Yeah.
Doesn't even know. Tom Ricer owns Tricer on Instagram, so we're Tricer USA on Instagram, right? So but it's not because I'm like trying to pretend to be this USA made thing. I guess Matt maybe had some anger with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Whatever, man. Like, I don't want to cause drama. I made a mistake last week by lashing back out at him. I'm a Christian. I don't want to lash out at anybody. I like to find the best in people, and if people have a problem with me, then I'm probably doing something right, I guess it would be. And if he has issues with me, I'm sorry. I tried to call the guy a couple times. I haven't got a call back. I did text him. He did text me back.
Oh, cool.
He said he didn't think I'd get so upset over that. But I think people just don't understand, like, what this brand means to me and, like, where I've come from, right? And, like, what it took for me to get to the point I am today. And I am protective of it. And I shouldn't have done what I did last week. I did kind of put the guy on blast.
Oh, you did?
But I did. Because like I kind of grew up very rough, dude. My dad's an alcoholic, mother's a drug addict. Like I kind of grew up raising myself since I was like 9 years old, like self-made, right? And like just been working my butt off forever, right? I ran my dad's sheet metal company up until last year. I quit his company. I'm the heir apparent to like the largest sheet metal company in San Diego, and I left it all to do Tricer, right?
I'm feeling it. Weren't passionate about it.
Yeah, I wasn't passionate about it, man. Like, honestly, I was, but I had no equity in it, and I was passionate for a long time, but man, like, I just feel like I know my worth now. It took me till I was almost 40 years old to kind of know my worth.
Isn't that weird?
to know like that I have value, right? Like I've allowed myself to really kind of build other people's things up a lot, and I want to do something on my own. And but that's uncalled for. Even if people want to bash me, right? Because we make our stuff overseas, like every other tripod, other than like RRS, like every other tripod in the mountains. Really right stuff.
How come you talk fast? Because I don't know your tripod world, and I'm like, who? What? I've never even heard of whatever company you just said. I don't even never heard of them.
Pretty much every single tripod is made overseas, right? Because trying to make things here is like I don't want to say it's impossible, but for me to do it personally,
right,
I would have to then go invest $20 million into like a carbon fiber machine shop to do it. And it's just, there's not enough money there for me to do that. Right. And that's I started making tripods for 20 brands, then it might justify that. So
okay, that makes sense.
We make our stuff overseas. Our quality is top notch. I have the best engineering team over there, and we work together well, and we make great stuff. And I don't try and hide that. I just, apparently I rubbed Matt wrong, and he wanted to, I don't know, maybe he gets off on people bashing on people, right? You know, bashing on brands and doing that stuff. And you could do that on big brands and stuff, but like when it's me, like, this is my baby. This is what you know what I mean? Like, I'm up here right now. I was eating breakfast by myself this morning, man. I was bummed out. I was like, dude, like, I miss my wife. Like, I'm alone up here right now. I went to dinner by myself last night, right? I went to breakfast myself this morning. Like, I'm sacrificing everything to do this company, and I'm traveling all the time, and I'm dealing, I don't want to say marriage issues, but I'm trying to balance this new life out with my wife and my 5 kids, and like trying to be a good dad to my 14-year-old daughter, right? And my one kid's off in college, and it's just this is my everything. I'm giving everything to this. So if you come at it, right? Like, again, I grew up rough. Like, I've always been raised like punch a bully in the mouth. So, you know, I tried to talk to Matt beforehand. We'd message back and forwards, and he said, you know, I don't want to go to war with you. And I was like, I don't know what that means. And then the next morning he put that post out, and I just figured I was getting on an airplane flying to go hunt, and everyone, and then like 15 text messages, right? Just people blasting me. And I just lost it. I downloaded the internet on the plane, and I freaking, uploaded some stuff on there, you know, and I'm not even going to say what I did, because don't
worry about it.
I'm not going to say what I did, because, like, you know, if you want to look it up, go for it. But just like, it was beneath me. By the time I landed, I was cooling off. Jay Scott called me, who I have the most respect for in the world. He's like a mentor figure in my life. And he's like, what are you doing? He's a Christian. I'm a Christian. It's like, this is beneath you. And I was like, Jay, you're so right. Like, I pulled it down. Like, I'm sorry. I text Matt that day. Matt, that was beneath me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that, right? And it's beneath me. I shouldn't have done it. If the guy wants to have problems with me, you know, like I think a lot of it stems from me trying to go into the NRL space with the tripod, the NRL Hunter Series now. I'm designing all these new shooting things. Like our new shooting tripod is very unique. And really my goal is to, as that partnership, I look at it as a partnership, not a sponsorship, is to grow NRL and to bring some disruption to the shooting space, right? Like our new tripod has 4 patents in it, right? We're using hexagon legs. No one's ever done that before, right? It's very stable.
Interesting.
You know, we have the weighted inserts, so our tripod can weigh anywhere from 5 pounds to 12 pounds. So you would think that would be welcomed.
Yeah.
Innovation, right? Because it's going to force other tripod companies to innovate. Like, that's what my goal is, right? Is to force innovation and to be a disruptor. But I didn't think that after my first match shooting with Matt, I mean, me and Matt were together all weekend. I sat down next to him one day for lunch, and he walked away. I would think if he had a problem, he'd say it to my face. And that's kind of what got me so pissed off. Is just like, if you have a problem, dude, just talk to me, man. Like, Matt, I have nothing against you, dude. Like, if you're listening to this, like,
he's listening.
You know, I don't, man. Like, I was with him all weekend. Like, that's kind of what got me so upset. I'm like, dude, like, you could have come up to me and said something to me and been like, hey, you know, let's settle this. But then to go on the internet and bash my company, I know he does it to like Vortex and stuff. And that's what kind of got me fired up. Because I'm like, if I don't punch this guy in the face now, it's going to continue to go. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have just called him and handled it like a Christian and like a man, instead of like stooping to that level, right? And that level is beneath me. Mm-hmm. I don't need to address every single person that bashes me. I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry, Matt. Publicly, I'm sorry. You know, and it's just, I'm trying to just grow a business, man. That's it. And I get a little defensive sometimes, and we all make mistakes, and I'll take full blame for it, man. Like, even, you know, I'll take full blame for it. Like, you know, it's just, I shouldn't have done that.
Well, we went right to the most painful part, but yeah. I'm okay with it, man. Honestly, I think it's okay to hash it out. Like, we're all navigating this weird world now. Yep. We're like, you can literally go to war, and it's from a screen. It's so weird. Yeah, you can be face to face, and like it's hard to have face to face, real hard conversations, and it's almost easier to just go on a screen or whatever. I don't want to say this, but there's a lot of guys who've made comments on any of my stuff or posted stuff. I see it all the time. And I'm like, I'm not a big, scary, physical dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at me, I'm 5'7", 160 pounds, right? I'm 43. Not really intimidating human, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I just wish I could knock on their door and they open it and it'd be like, surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Say it to my face.
Yeah.
You know, not that I'm tough or anything, but just like I like defending my honor as a man. But what I will say from my lens, so I'm like Switzerland, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was excited that you were coming up here to do content with me. You know, I have your tripods. I haven't tested them yet. You knew that, but I was like, we have that gear channel. You shoot bows. You're into fitness. Let's hang out. Let's do a pod. And yeah, man, you're right. You did sacrifice. Like you flew yourself here away from your family and spent the night, and you're here doing this stuff for your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
All that is to say, when it comes to like you and I talking about what you're trying to do yesterday, I realized Matt is my friend. Matt is a phenomenal, if not the phenom, when it comes to shooting sports.
He's incredible.
I hate him.
He's incredible. He's a phenomenal athlete.
But I don't see how, and I don't know anything, so I can plead ignorance. Like, I don't understand how he affords to go to all these NRLs. And I asked him last year when he's building my custom gun through Mountain Forge, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, what's your payout? Thinking like, oh, first place is like got to be like 10 grand or something, cover your airfare, your hotel, your time. He's like, no, I get a prize every time I win.
Like a rifle scope.
You don't need a fucking rifle scope. Are you kidding me? Like, how are you? So my point of all that is like NRL is not a thing that you can do to like make a living. But it could be when guys like you see an opportunity to sell more tripods and make solutions to problems that these guys have for shooting sports, and you come in and partner with NRL, well, you start compounding, and then you reach out to your friends at Go Hunt.
Yep. And
who else?
Go Hunt and All In last week got on the phone with NRL to put a sponsorship in.
Because of you. That's adding up dollars to where a guy like Matt could potentially make money for being so freaking good at shooting sports. So there's two sides to every coin, and it's how you look at things. But if you want something to grow, there's going to be growing pains. You feel me?
I do. And that's the thing with me is, you know, that was probably like, I had my first event with NRL. We just sponsored them, right? Like I had my first event. I brought a camera crew out. So I was getting slack for having a camera crew out there. But it cost me $5,000 to have this camera crew out there, and I gave all that content to NRL, which you understand as a content creator how valuable that content is, right?
Oh, well, I literally talked to Matt Allwine last year, and I said, Matt, and I'm looking at the camera right now, Matt, nobody knows how cool you are at shooting these competitions because you don't post any photos. There's no real videos of it. Like, if you want to invest in your likeness, your brand, let's just like his brand, hire a camera crew and capture so people even understand what it's like. You have 4 minutes to find 4 targets and shoot them twice at different 4 different shooting positions and all wind calls. Like everything I just said, nobody knows that, right? Because there's no media behind it. In order for NRL to make it in the long run, they need to be a media brand first to get the eyeballs. You get eyeballs, guys can make a living.
Yeah, man. And I think, I mean, NRL is crushing, right? I mean, they have 32 events. They're selling out every single time. And these are my people, right? That's what's kind of hurtful. So now I'm getting bashed by all these NRL guys. They're just bashing me. Everyone's going to my ads. Even for the last couple of weeks, that's kind of what pissed me off too. Is like, because there was also some stuff before that post last week. There were some other stories going on from Matt. And people were catching on to it. So all of a sudden I'm getting all these guys like posting Chinese flags on my ad. Those ads cost me a lot of money. Right? So I always block people. Just know that. If you get blocked by me, like go ahead and brag about it. I don't care. Like good for you. You're a grown man who decided to go onto my ads and I blocked you.
So what tripod and stuff are they saying to run?
I don't know. Like the ones that are the only one that's American made would be RRS, but like Two Vets, Vortex, Leopold, freaking Fat Boy, those are all made in China, dude. Like there's only one. So
Okay.
and they're all running, you look at their pages and they're all running those tripods, right? Like not many, I mean, some guys are running RRS, but a lot of them run those Chinese things, or they're wearing, no offense, Matt, a full First Light kit made in China, and then they're bashing on me for my tripod. You know what I mean? Like I'm not.
Sounds yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like I'm not. So whatever, man. Like again, it's my fault, Matt. I'm sorry. It was beneath me. If you want to bash me, bash me. It's not gonna. The cool thing is like it's not gonna affect my sales at the end of the day. Like at the end of the day, like I didn't sponsor NRL Hunter so I can get 10 tripod sales from the top shooters. I sponsored NRL Hunter so I can sell 20,000 tripods this year. Like I'm building a giant. That's my goal, right? I told you this yesterday, like I give a percentage of all my sales to my foster ministry. I'm a Christian. So like my first month doing that 2 years ago, my sales tripled the next month.
Isn't that interesting?
I was able, in February this year was Tricer's biggest year. I was able to give my foster ministry $12,000 last month. It's the best check I write every single month. And that's kind of why I get so defensive, right? Like I know God is in this with me. I know we're building this thing. I want to give my foster ministry 150 grand this year. That's my goal, right? To help children, right? And I get a little defensive over that. You know what I mean? Like, sure. You don't know me. Like, what the hell are you doing? And I get it, man. Like, people love being bullies, right? And they get off on it. And like, when you're a bully that everyone else starts getting on it, they like it, right? They like this internet thing. But man, like, I'm not Vortex. Don't do it to Tricer. Like, I'm just out here trying to build a brand. I'm running this thing out of my backyard and I'm hustling, dude. I'm gone, 100 something days a year. I mean, it's making sacrifices with my family and I'm struggling and it means a lot to me, dude. This company means a lot to me.
You're pretty vested in it.
And I'm growing this thing, and it is growing, dude, year over year. We're going to triple again this year, dude. Like,
wow.
We are when it comes to hunting tripods. Like, I'll say it. We're the king of the mountain on hunting tripods, dude. You're either running Tricer or you want to run Tricer, right? I mean, we're just, and we're innovative. We're just doing things a little bit differently. And that's what makes us
get into that.
Makes us so special.
Let's talk about and I didn't know, the JC, the AD, the BC. We kind of, Tyler Denham, who runs ELKSHAPE Gear, you guys ran through a lot of your offerings yesterday, which was pretty cool to watch. I was out of screen, just kind of listening to what you're doing and talking about. But like, what does separate or differentiate really yours from the next tripod?
My stuff, everything I make is made from a hunting perspective, not a photography perspective. And I feel like everyone else in the hunting space that has tripods is taking a photography tripod, like a VA5 panhead or just a standard slick tripod, and they're putting a pair of antlers on it and calling it a hunting tripod.
Gotcha.
Right? And mine, everything's done from a unique, like everything we make is inverted, right? All my panheads, very unique, right? Like our DZ panhead is these nuts, right? It's a fluid panhead with a ball head machined into it. No one's done that before. So it gives the option to now glass and then break a ball for it and cant your rifle and shoot off of it, right? Like it's the best of both worlds because, everyone wants to shoot off it. So I'm hearing hunters, I'm making these changes, right? Like my LP panhead weighs 4 ounces. We sell thousands of them a month, dude.
What does the LP stand for?
Lung popper.
Lung popper, got it. Okay.
So it's some of them mean something, some of them are just fun. Like,
yeah.
So
what's the KC stand for?
KS?
Or KS, yeah.
Kill shot.
Gotcha.
Kill shot, right? So I had fun with them. So like lung popper was.
Don't stop doing that, man, because that's cool.
I love doing it.
I think that's cool.
I love doing it. So like I can go into some of those names, but so like lung popper came from, I'm on a local hunting forum. I didn't start big game hunting until 2014. Like my dad didn't take me hunting. I got my own hunting lessons when I was like 12. Cause I used to watch Outdoor Life channel. Okay. And then I got my dad's friend to take me bird hunting. So I bird hunted forever, right?
Kind of worked your way up.
Yeah. And then like I really wanted to big game hunt. I didn't know where to do that. I had no family to teach me how to do that. But like where I learned how to do that was through hunting forums and listening to guys like Jay Scott, Randy Newberg, Steve Vernella, listening to those podcasts. Like my first hunting trips were a disaster, bro.
Yes.
But again, I'm one of the most psycho people you ever meet. Like when I get into something, like I want to figure it out, right? Like now I'm going out and like I told you yesterday, like I'm confident I can kill every time I go out. Now I'm getting to a level where I want to do more bow stuff, more traditional rifle stuff, and starting to kill bigger things, right? Like I'm getting to that level,
just
right?
A little progression.
It's kind of progression. Yeah. So where was I going with that? We're talking.
Well, I think at the end of the day, we're trying to figure out like.
Lung popper. What it meant.
Lung popper and what separates or differentiates Tricer from other offerings.
So long story short, lung popper is a good friend of mine. He's an older guy in San Diego. Older guy, he's like 60 years old.
That's his nickname?
Lung popper is his nickname on these forums.
Oh my gosh.
And Instagram. And he's like, I bet you can't make a 6-ounce panhead. So I said, hold my beer. I made a 4-ounce panhead and named it after him.
That's sick, dude.
So the lung popper, the LP, but then like our BP panhead means big pan. So you think the LP means little pan, it means big pan, right?
Yeah.
So like our tripods, like we have the BC, which means before Christ, or JC, which is Jesus Christ, and our 80, which is after death.
Okay.
Right. Every one of our boxes has scriptures on it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Right. Like we just put God first in everything
Unashamed.
we do.
Love
unashamedly. And honestly, it's been great for my brand to be that person, to be this, hey man, like I voted for Trump. You don't like it? Cool. Don't buy it. Right. Like I'm not going to cater. I don't try and please everybody. I try and just do me, and people like it and they support it. Right. Like I have a lot of people who go out and support me, which is nice now. Right. Someone bashes me, they'll get in there and bash for me. I don't have to do the bashing. Right. That's why last week was beneath me. I shouldn't have done that again. I'm sorry to everybody who saw that, but it was embarrassing.
You got to think about, there is a thing about like no publicity is bad publicity, like to a degree. Like obviously you're a human, I'm a human. I hate it when I get like a meme made about me, or there's a whole like thread on a forum of why I'm not cool.
Yeah.
And they can be pretty mean, but there's also like you go on a forum or something and you'll see like someone comment like, I've never heard of this guy. I just checked out his page. It's like, there you go. There's like, so there is to a degree. And then there's another side of it too, where like, oh man, Cam Haynes, he was like, Dan, you need to fight fire with fire, which is what you did. Right.
And that's,
and that's not very biblical, but I can tell you, it sometimes just feels good to fight fire with fire.
It feels great.
But I don't know if that's honestly the solution either. I think the most important thing is to keep your head down. Stay true to you. Put your family first. Never stop hustling. And at the end of the day, be okay with not pleasing every person out there. You said something just a second ago. You said you voted for our current president. Mm-hmm. I made a video on YouTube driving into Idaho, vlogging, explaining to the viewers that I just killed a bull in New Mexico. I just am now arriving to Idaho. I got a tag. And I said, oh, by the way, my wife's moving into our new house in Idaho as I'm speaking right now. Like we hired a moving crew. God bless her. She's a saint. We just moved from a blue state to a red state. And then I continued the conversation. That triggered some people on YouTube. Do you think I thought like, how can I trigger these guys? I'm going to say I moved from a blue to a red. Like, no. And then one guy's like, literally like, you should take that part out of the video. You should delete that video. Like you're going to lose business over this.
No,
and I replied and said, I literally don't care.
Yep.
I don't. Has God ever not provided for me?
No.
I can't think of one time where I didn't have food to eat and a bed to sleep and a roof over my head.
Yep.
I've always been taken care of. So with that mentality, I mean, I just want to encourage you, like, dude, you're a hustler. I've been around you for not even 24 hours yet. You're pretty driven, dude. You can't really like teach that. There's like parts to being driven where like you can't bottle it up and pass it out. I wish you could. And it can't be taught. It's just intrinsically built in your DNA. With that being said, yeah, man, like sky's the limit for you. And you seem like you're reaching for, you want to stay at the top.
Oh yeah, dude. Like it's contagious too, right? If you come around me long enough, you're going to be driven. You know, I can put I feed off that with people. People feed off me, right? So it'll get you excited, right? Like me and you are probably going to start having a really good friendship with business because I really enjoy entrepreneurship. But yeah, man, like it's like you said, God's never not provided, right? And that's like what Jay told me last week. He's like, dude, why are you doing this? Like God handle this. Like back off.
That's cool. I don't know Jay Scott. How did you meet him?
I'm just look up to him so much. He's like the god of glassing, the godfather of glassing, like one of them. You know what I mean? And like I'll go. He stays in San Diego a couple times a year, so I'll go down and I'll have breakfast or dinner or lunch with Jay and just talk to him.
Smart.
And just like I want to surround myself with people who are better than me and who have been doing it longer than me, right? Like one of my mentors is Cody Nelson from Go Hunt, and Cody is the optics guru, dude. He's he's the genius behind glassing, right? And like I want to send things to Cody and get feedback from him and understand like what do I need to do to make changes to make this better, right? Like we have like our new bino adapter. We had one originally that we sold, freaking $500 a month of, and I changed it and made another one called the QB, which is the quick connect one. You know what I mean? Like I just trying to grow, right? We came out with our NS clamps last year, which are an aluminum version of a bino strap that are, better.
They go around the body.
Go around the body, right? You know what I mean? So I'm just like constantly trying to innovate. And a lot of people will be like, oh, you copied whatever. You copied Asiac with that. And it's like, yeah, he did it first, but I think I did it better, right? And if I did, just because someone does something doesn't mean you can't continue to grow it, right? And push innovation. Right, that's like saying like, oh, dude, Henry Ford made the first car. Chevy copied him. You know what I mean? If we only had one car dealer, like it would suck, dude. Like we talked about it yesterday. If we only had one, if it was only bare bows, imagine how crappy the market would be. But then you have guys like Matthews coming out with the lift, and then Hoyt coming out with the RX-8, RX-9. Like that's forcing PSE and freaking Bowtech and everyone to like step up, right? Like if you need that innovation, you need someone pushing forward, right? Like
so like you're saying competition brings out the best in everybody?
Oh, 100%, dude.
And then what you're saying is, so you mentioned Rydell, he's a friend of mine, Aziac. I've ran his stuff exclusively, not on like no inked deals, just liked his stuff, like the dude. How many other competitors out there would you say like have you had words with Rydell, or are you guys like sworn enemies? Like how is it like
we're not
I'll give you an example.
Enemies. We talk.
Like there's options. Like if you don't do ELKSHAPE training, you can do Mayhem Hunt with Rich Froning, or you can do Mountain Tough, who spends 1,000x in ads compared to me. You could do theirs. I will not shit on either one of them because there's so many overweight people in our country. It's pathetic. We're like the least healthiest country in the world. So I know, regardless of which brand you go, like you're doing something good and it's a win-win for everybody. I'll always have some guys that like our style of programming. Is that sentiment similar to the tripod industry, or is it a little bit more cutthroat?
It depends. I've had some, when I was first coming up, I was definitely getting kicked down by some of the good old boys and definitely getting crapped on. Had some of the owners, some of the companies going on my stuff and commenting, and I had to block some of the owners, some of the people.
Give me a couple horror stories. Like, give it like that you can, like the reality of what it's like to be. I'm gonna call you a disruptor.
Disruptor.
What's it like to be a disruptor?
I'll give you some stories. I don't want to go too much. Okay.
But don't make it so I have to go back and edit anything out.
I won't say names, right? So like my first week in business, I used to make like really bad tripods. They were tripods that used trekking poles as legs. And like you had to use 3 trekking poles. It wasn't bad. It was a great idea. Just everyone else was too dumb to understand how great it was, except for me.
Okay.
Right? So we were just losing money, right? But I took that idea and I adapted it to a backcountry bipod that was on the market, right? And like, which is like putting a pair of custom wheels on a truck. It's not illegal to do. Right. So the owner of this company, my first week of business, messages me this crappy message like, hey, it would have been nice to know you were doing this. Like, maybe we could have worked together. You know, this really, basically he's pissed off. And I was like, oh, dude, I am so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to do that at all. Like, I love your stuff. I've been using your stuff forever. Like, I was just trying to make it a little better for me. And then I was like, oh, I can do this for other people as well. Here's my number and email. And then what I got a response from him was a cease and desist from his lawyers. Right. So that was 2020. And that stuck with me and motivated me.
So did you decease? Did you stop?
No, I didn't stop. There's nothing wrong with it. Like I had to pay my lawyer. So
you didn't have to hire lawyers.
I had to pay my lawyers to look at it, which cost me $1,000 at a time where I had no money. I couldn't even buy Tricerpod.com. So I had to pay him. Lawyers like, dude, this guy's got nothing. His patent is so specific. Like that's the thing with patents. Like if it's so specific, you can get around it. And I wasn't even violating the patent in anything. I was just making adapters. Like I said, I'm making wheels for a truck. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
And so that stuck with me.
That was first week.
Oh, dude, 5 years later, I just launched my bipod and we sold 3,000 in the last 2 weeks on pre-order. Like I will have the best-selling backcountry bipod in the market. And like part of that motivation comes from 5 years ago of that guy doing that to me. He knows who he is. And, you know, I will be like, I don't want to say like, dude, Ranello's going to run my bipod. Like that's freaking awesome, dude. Like this bipod that I just made is in my mind the best hunting bipod I've ever used. I'm not gonna say the best one ever made because people will bash me for that. So everyone else uses it. It's the best bipod I've ever used for hunting. It weighs 15 ounces and it does every position possible. And when people, you guys tell me I copied someone, I copied no one on that bipod. Literally, I got the idea from my Hoyt Ghost Sticks. That's the only thing I used for design.
Oh, okay.
And the design is so much different than the Hoyt Ghost Sticks. Like it's not even crazy.
That was where you started.
That's where I started. And it took me 5 years. Everyone's like, make a bipod, make a bipod. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to make what everyone else does. Same thing with my tripod.
So what makes yours so cool?
My bipod.
The range of elevation?
My bipod comes with a pick head, comes with an arca head, comes with a swivel set, a pick adapter, comes with long legs, short legs, spike feet, and rubber feet for $299.
What about, can you rotate it?
It can 360 and it can cant.
It can cant?
Yes.
Ooh.
It's 15
Is there
ounces.
any problems? Oh, it doesn't weigh much. Is there any problems you didn't?
No.
You feel like you nailed it?
I feel like I nailed it, dude. Like when you have Brady Miller saying like, this is the best bipod I've ever used for hunting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, 'cause again, like bipods right now are made from a shooting perspective, not from a hunting perspective. And I built my bipod from a hunting perspective of what, because like for me, it's like
I'm gonna have to run this, man, because like I have a Warren bipod on mine, and it's awesome, but it just doesn't like I don't have the options to shoot. So like we're talking about that elk at the beginning of the pod that I shot with a rifle that I just did not want to shoot with a rifle. I had Andy Stump with me, Navy SEAL sniper, and I mean we were trying everything based on the topography. I was laying prone. I couldn't get the legs high enough. And then we had a bag and then another backpack, and I was going to sit upright. And I do want to shoot prone. I really want to shoot prone. But at the end of the day, it was like a shortcoming of the bipod he had on there. That's a guy you should probably send it to. Do you know who the Cleared Hot podcast, Andy Stump?
I don't.
Look him up. He's a badass. And he's like got one of the biggest podcasts out there. I think he'd like to take a look at that.
So that bipod goes from 8 to 30 inches and it'll do any position you need.
That's cool.
And so that's what I made it for, right? So like, that's my thing is like, it also comes with the pick, the ARCA, and the swivel sticks. My issue is like, if you go buy a $500 bipod right now, it'll be ARCA only. Or $1,000 bipod. It's ARCA only or it's pick only. And I'm like, dude, like the average dude doesn't have the money to go buy 5 bipods. I have 20 bipods in my closet and I never have the right bipod on my rifle.
That sucks.
Like I have a long bipod and I need a short bipod. Okay. I have a short bipod, I need a long bipod. I'm stacking backpacks, I'm doing all this stuff. And that's where I made this bipod for. But dude, you would think, because like, I'll just say it, MDTs, triple pull, everyone's like just bashing me. Like, oh, you copied these guys. I've never even held one of those bipods, you guys. Like, it's not, I'm not.
What's the name of the brand?
The MDT, the triple pull. Like, I'm not trying, it's $1,000 bipods, all the NRL guys use. I'm not trying to compete with that bipod. Will I? Yes, of course I will. But that's not like, I've never held it. I'm just trying to make a bipod to make hunters better and help people kill things. That's my goal. It's like, dude, I get off on my kid shot this freaking bull 400 yards off your tripod, right? I get it all the time. Like,
that's cool.
And like that bipod, I killed a pile of animals off it this year from every different position. And I know it works. And the proof's in the body count, right? Like the proof isn't from shooting steel. The proof is in the body count of being in the field in unknown conditions, being able to make that shot on my butt or on a rock or up at 45 degrees, right? Or lay down on a hill like this and shoot and cant the rifle and shoot a deer at 300 yards or shoot a deer off my knees in Colorado. I mean, like, that's what I'm trying to build. And to get the pushback that I get, it's like, well, yeah, I guess I'm doing something right. But at the end of the day,
a good way to look at it.
Now I'm giving them a bipod that has, so now it comes with long legs, comes with short legs, comes with all these different options in one kit, right? And I could sell that bipod for $500. I guarantee you I can right now. Mm-hmm. But I want to sell for $300. I want to sell 30,000 of them this year.
Oh my gosh.
That's my goal, right? We've already done 3,000 in the last 2 weeks.
How are you designing everything? Like when you say, I want to fix this, I want to design that, like what I picture is like you have like a little man cave where like you do some weird, weird.
I do.
How did that start for you? I feel like you do need to like as much detail as possible. How do you start making stuff?
Well, dude, again,
you're not an engineer.
I came from, no, dude, I'm a redneck, man. Like I came from not much money. My dad was a sheet metal worker. If I wanted a dirt bike, I had to buy, like I grew up in a rich neighborhood and we had no money. I had to go buy one from the 80s and build it myself in a crate and put a dirt bike together, right? And I had to make it work. And I had to show up to the track with a bike that was 10 years older than everyone else's 1998 CR80 because I was, didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Right? If I wanted a bicycle, I had to go buy a GT at the swap meet and then go get some dyno freaking wheels and some Haro cranks and build that sucker when I was a kid. And I've always been that way. And I've always been the guy that would like go build a fort. You know what I mean? I'm always built a fort, never played in it. And that's kind of with Tricer, like I'm bored, right? Like I build the hunting stuff and now I'm bored. I want to build shoot. I want to go disrupt this space now. Like I want to come into this space. I want to disrupt it. I want to create stuff that will potentially make the industry better, make shooters better, right? And that's all I'm trying to do is go into the shooting space now, right? Like we have these new, like I look at like the Predator tripods. We have a new Predator tripod coming out called the HK. It's $519. Comes with an inverted ball head, inverted leg tripod, and a gun clip for $519. It's a steal. For all intents and purposes, you can go shoot NRL off this thing. I was shooting 1,000 yards off it this week. It's a phenomenal tripod for $500 because everything out there is made out of plastic and so gimmicky. And go to the Predator aisle of your local sportsman's warehouse and look at the crap they're trying to sell you to use for a tripod for Predators. Like, I don't want to mention names, but like, it's garbage. And that's such a bigger market than the glassing tripods because basically from Colorado east, they don't even know what binoculars on a tripod is. Correct. You go to Texas and they're like, binoculars on a tripod, what are you talking about?
Yep.
Can you shoot off it? You know what I mean? And like, no offense, Texas, you guys are awesome. Like,
I love Texas.
I made a tripod for Texas. I was in Texas last year for 3 shows and got my butt handed to me by some of these crappy tripods. And I'm like, I can do better than that. right? And I want to go into that space and give them an option to have something nice and light and quality, right? And I just look at it like that. And then when it comes to like the engineering, like, yeah, dude. So like my dad started working with me when I was 12 years old. He had opened a sheep oil shop when I was 14. He made me, I would work 85 hours a week at 14 years old when he started that company. I'd work 7 days a week, 16 hours a day. So like, again,
You weren't going to school, or is that just your summer?
That was my summers, right?
Yeah.
And then when I go to school, somebody would pick me up from school at 2:00 and bring me there to work till 10 o'clock at night. And I go to school the next day. Like, again, don't bash my company. You don't know where I came from. Like, this is like, I've been grinding my whole life, dude. Like, I've just been grinding and working, and, you know, and then I got married at 19 years old. I wasn't a Christian. I had so much anger in my heart. I got saved at freaking 19. My wife got pregnant at 19 years old. I had my first kid at 19 years old, right?
Oh, okay.
Lost my first house at 23. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I've been through the gambit of just trying to do this stuff, right? And like, you know, and I've just always been intuitive, right? Like in the sheet metal space, I have a patent for a widget that we sell that funded Tricer, right? I invented a widget 12 or 13 years ago, and we sell a couple $100,000 a year of them, and that thing for $1 a piece. And that's what funded Tricer, right? And then I have like a machine that I developed and I designed, and we sell those, and I get mailbox money from that, because we sell, 10 or 15 of those machines a year. Right? I've always been somebody who will hang out with you.
Thank you for mentioning those. Those are starting to make sense. Like, okay, you've been thinking.
An issue.
Yeah.
I see. So like, I can go out with you, and you see things one way, and I see a solution, and I'm just a solution-driven person, and I want to make the world better through these solutions and make things more. I like to innovate. I love designing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love designing and creating and making things way more than I do. Like, you talked about being a good hunter. Like, I'm not a great hunter. Like, I've been getting like shit on. Sorry. About how good I was at NRL last week, and look at the stats. And it's like, dude, like, I'm not pretending to be a great hunter, you guys, a great shooter. Like, I'm not, but I do like have the respect to know that like I have enough respect for NRL and PRS to start going and doing it, because I want to understand what I'm doing.
Yeah, you didn't have
like,
to.
I don't
You
have to do
just
that.
sent a check.
I could just sent the check, ran the ads. You know what I mean? Like these other companies. And no, I'm out there because I have enough respect for Matt Alwyn and these guys that I want to understand what they're doing. So when I talk to them, I want to have a perspective of it, an understanding of it, right? Same thing with hunting. I can sit down with you and talk hunting all day long. Mm-hmm. I will never be as good of a hunter as you are, Dan, or Ryan Lampers is, but I love it just as much as you do.
That's cool.
Right? Like, I love hunting, but like, dude, I am not Brian Barney.
Right.
But like, dude, and like you talked about like posting stuff. Like I did all my hunt films this year. There's multiple hunts where I didn't kill anything. There's a hunt where I freaking wounded a pig, missed a deer, and I'm on the video, and I'm just like, dude, like, we're going to post this because I want the world to know that I'm just a dude that loves hunting, and I build tripods. You know what I mean? and like, but like, dude, like NRL, everyone's dumping on me. And it's like, dude, like, at least I'm out there. What other brands are out there with you guys shooting?
Yeah.
Like, hey, shit on me for taking a film crew out there and trying to learn what you guys are doing so I can have respect for what you're doing. That's what I want to do. I don't want to just sponsor NRL. I mean, like, I'm the tripod of NRL. I want to go shoot it and understand it, right? Like, I'm invested. I built $25,000 worth of guns, right? I reload. I've been doing that forever. I want to understand, like, what goes into it. Like, dude, for Matt to shoot these matches, I don't know how that guy must have to reload like 2 days a week unless he's got like a reloader somewhere. Like, it's a lot of work, dude, to go do what these guys do and to fine tune and to tune a barrel and to get everything perfect. Like, I have so much respect for those NRL guys.
Dang wind calls.
The wind calls, dude, it was 40 miles per hour. I got my, dude, like, go look at my scores, you guys. I didn't shoot the last 5 things, but I only shot like a 28 or something like that, this thing, right? Like, Matt shot a 142. Right?
Yeah, but
I had just as much fun, dude. Like, that's cool. The thing. Like, I had just as much fun. Like, we go shoot bows yesterday. Mm-hmm. You're smoking me. Did we laugh together and have a good time?
It was the best part of the day, man.
Best part of the day, dude. And like, that's what it is to me, right? And like, I don't know, man. I don't know where I'm kind of going off tangent here.
No, I think people need to feel that fire.
Like,
because
it
does push things into perspective.
You know,
I can give, whatever someone's perception is their reality. Mm-hmm. Okay. So maybe they perceived that you were a big swinging D with your little film crew taking photos, and that you feel their perceptions that you think you're a big deal, when obviously you're not. You got a 28, bro. You're not a big deal. You're a guy who's putting himself out there. Mad respect. I don't even know if I could get a 28. You know what I mean? I've never shot an NRL. I was telling you yesterday that there's one coming up in my neck of the woods in June, mm-hmm. and that Tyler and I are asking Matt to be our mentor for the skills so that we can get a full like day with somebody. Like, there's a learning curve, right?
Yeah, I should have done skills, and I didn't because I wanted to like, have respect for these guys, what they do.
Okay.
And I should have done skills.
So I'm doing skills first, bro.
So I should have done skills because like It's so hard what these guys do.
And who's the guy who owns the NRL?
Travis.
Met him. Cool dude.
Yeah, he lives right by me in San Diego. So he lives in like Riverside. So we're like an hour apart. Right? Like, these are my people, dude. Like, I went out there, I was like, dude, these are my people. That's why it hurts so bad. Like, you know what I mean?
We'll get through it.
And honestly,
this
with
will
the
help.
with the film crew too.
Yeah.
Like, Matt was shitting on some of my posts we had. Like, this isn't how you shoot NRL the week before. And like, Luke Duesenberry took those pictures. He's all fired up. And he's like, I'm going to get... So I'm like, but Luke, I want to do NRL right. Let's get some good photos so these guys like Matt can respect them. You know, and that's why the film crew is out there. So I can put photos that are respectable out there. And like, trust me, NRL Hunter now, that logo is going to be seen 1 million times this month on my ads.
That's good.
That's good for the series, dude.
You
That's
need to
good
grow
for
it.
the series.
It needs
That's going to help.
some dollars.
You
Like,
know?
I'm tired of Matt not making a living out of it. You know, like, he should be able to at least get some earnings besides another loophole scope or whatever.
I'm not charging NRL for those ads. It's just on there, right? I put in their logo on my boxes, right? Like, hey, the official title of the NRL Hunter series. Like, I'm proud of that.
That's cool.
And I want to live up to that. And I want to make things that are worthy of that. Like, that's my goal. My goal is to make a shit tripod that everyone turns into a plunger and plunges a toilet with. You know what I mean? Like Matt did the Vortex. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to make a tripod that's respectable and forces the industry to grow.
So when you're making stuff at home and like trying to figure out,
gosh, I didn't know we were going to talk about Matt so much. I feel like I need to get off of talking about Matt. I'm sorry.
It's good. He's probably like me, slightly narcissistic and loves hearing his name. I'm joking, but like it happened. We had to talk about it. But I want to go back to making tripods. Like you said you like all tripods. Most tripods are made overseas.
Yes.
Okay. How do you actually make a prototype in California in your little man cave, and then how much risk is involved? When can you actually okay, this is proof of concepts here. I can now order 10,000 of these, which there's still no guarantee you're going to sell, right?
Dude,
that kind of thing.
So I do some stuff here, all machine stuff here, but also I have a great engineering team over there. My company I work with over there, we are probably their largest company now within their company.
Okay.
They make for other brands as well. I can't say the brands, but some other really large brands are in this factory, like really large tripod brands, like above hunting industry, photography. Like, we are now taking that over as their largest. So that we do a lot of the engineering over there, and I just draw things. I'll draw things, go back and forth. They send me prototypes. I use it. Like this Tricer X tripod, I'm $500,000 into it by the time it shows up here. I had to build machinery. I had to order these things. So if it doesn't work, I'm losing $500,000. And that's where you have to understand, that's the dedication I'm putting into NRL and the PRS. So
what's the name of the tripod?
The Tricer X.
And so it's not out yet.
No, it'll be out in May, dude.
Okay. And so have you done ads for it?
Oh yeah, I'm running ads. We're doing pre-orders, trying to get them sold. It's an expensive tripod, right? It's hexagon legs. It's got 1.5 times carbon.
That's the one you were talking about.
It's got 1.5 times the thickness of carbon fiber.
Oh, I saw a prototype.
It's got leg lockouts. The show, right?
Yeah.
It's got weights in the legs. It's got 4 patents in it, right? It's a really cool tripod. But dude, if it doesn't work, I'm out $500,000.
Yikes.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what people don't get, dude. Like, I love the guy who's like, oh, must be nice writing your stuff off. And I'm like, hell yeah, it is. You don't know what it took to get here. Like, this stuff is field tested. And I'm, like that bipod, dude, it's 5 years in the making of finally getting here.
Gotcha.
And I had to make these investments into it. Like, do you think they make those bipods for free? Hell no, dude. I'm paying for $12,000 in bipods right now to bring in. I have 6,000. I have 6,000 coming in May. I have another 6,000 behind them. I'm leveraging credit cards. I'm leveraging everything I can, bank loans, to get those things made to come over here on the hope that I can sell those 12,000 bipods by June so I can pay those credit card bills.
So you're risking it all.
I risk, dude. Yeah, dude.
Every
I love
day.
risk. I love risk, bro.
You do.
I love growing because let me tell you what, dude. I've lost so much money on crypto and stocks. You know who I've never lost money on? Myself.
Ooh.
Dude, I am my best investment. I can make money. Like, I could print money with my mind. And I've learned that as I've gotten older and learned my value. Like, dude, I will risk everything on myself because nobody's gonna try harder than me. Like, dude, I'll risk it all. Put it on freaking red and spin that sucker because I know for a fact that what I'm making is good. I know for a fact that bipod is gonna sell this year, and it will be the best selling hunting bipod on the market. It will be on everyone's rifles because it does everything it needs to do. And there's gonna be guys who shit on it because they spent $1,000 on MDT and they want to justify it. Fine, shit on it. I don't care. But the average dude is going to buy that bipod. Like, I think MDT is great. I have no problems with them. But for some reason, when someone goes and buys $1,000 tripod or bipod, they just feel like they have to justify it by shitting on me.
Right.
And I'm not trying to compete with those guys. I'm just trying to do Tricer.
What
right?
about a guy like ELKSHAPE, who has two forms of hunting that involve tripods the most. Spring black bear, which the season's generously long, and I spend way too much time on a mountain glassing, like insane. And then I glass a lot I hunt mainly open country elk. Didn't always, but I finally figured out that's the kind of elk hunting I like the most.
I feel like all you guys are graduating to that. Like all the guys who want to kill big elk.
I don't care if I kill a big elk, but I just like seeing them.
They like it.
I like watching animals. You know, I hunted this North Idaho. I've graduated, man. 2001 to 2019. That's 18 years of pounding the brush and a lot of success. I'm over it. I don't want to do that anymore. So what I want to ask you is, okay, you got the 80 and the BC, the kind of those two.
Yep.
Which one should I try this spring? Which head should I put on? I'd mainly glass with probably binoculars, 12s, if I'm being on 12 by 50s. And then I need to digiscope. I work with MagView. I have a YouTube channel. I need to get it on video. So I'll use a mini razor, which is that 56, or I'll use a regular razor, which is a 65. And I need to get it on video.
So
I don't really want to bring two tripods.
No.
And the camera guy or the photographer, their tripods, that's on them. I don't care what they're doing.
Well, they're running Tricer. But so the 80 LP, dude, like you can't go wrong. We sell thousands of those heads a month. Again, I could have stopped.
The AD what?
The 80 tripod and the LP panhead.
And the LP, the lung popper.
The lung popper. It weighs 4 ounces.
4 ounces plus. What's the AD weigh?
33.
So 37 ounces.
It's stronger than anything out there in its weight class.
So just over 2 pounds.
It's stronger than anything in its weight class. It can stand with it.
Okay.
Right? I like to have the ability. I don't stand a lot when I glass, but I like to have the ability to stand up because I'll glass 10 hours a day, stand up for maybe an hour during the day. It's nice
to mix it up.
Stretch out. Or if I want to sit on a rock and have the legs around me and drop the leg down. Like I don't want to be fully extended. So I like having that 80 LP in the pack.
What's the max height on that?
70 inches.
What about the BC? What's the
40.
40.
Maybe it's 65 inches on the 80. I'm just thinking 65 on the 80.
65 on the 80.
Yep. Plus your panhead, plus your optics. It gets you up.
That gets you up there.
And you're only going to your eye height, right? People don't understand that. Like you're only thinking like to your eye height. People are like, I'm 6'5". It needs to go. No, it needs to go to whatever.
Could a Brady Miller stand in?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
With the extension, he can. Yep,
okay.
100%.
With the extension, and then obviously I can because I'm not
Brady
very tall.
runs the BC though.
Does he really?
Yeah. All the hardcore guys run the BC, but for me, it's like...
He probably cuts his toothbrush
He cuts his toothbrush, dude. He cuts his toothbrush, carries a 14-pound rifle. Again, I will never be Brady Miller. I will never knock what Brady does. Brady is one of the best mule deer hunters of our generation.
What you all don't know is Brady Miller is a world-class photographer. That's how I met him before he was ever working for Go Hunt.
Yeah. He
was Brady Miller, lived in Montana. I would message him, I don't know on what platform, but he was like a really good hunter and photographer.
Was it MySpace? Is that what it was?
Could have been. Could have been. I'm old enough.
Yeah.
But that's what I'll never forget about Brady is he's like a really, really good photographer.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so he actually runs like the BC with the BP, but I think he's going to try the BC with the DZ this year for canting his rifle and stuff.
Hey guys, we're going to interrupt the pod, tell you about a little training tip. I work with GoRuck. They make some really cool stuff, training shoes, apparel, but my favorite items are their rucksack, the Rucker 2.0, and their weight vest. Push-ups, pull-ups, squats, lunges are already hard. If you want to make them more difficult and you're on a budget for a home gym, just pick up a weight vest. You've just made your workouts better. Also, I typically don't ruck with my hunting pack unless I'm in the mountains actually scouting. But when I go on rucks right around the place here, I just throw that rucker on. I have 2 20-pound plates in it. I can get that thing soaked in sweat. And I'm not putting dumbbells or heavy plates in my hunting pack. So I have a dedicated rucksack for my training bouts, and it works out awesome. They also make sandbags. I recommend at least a 60-pound sandbag to simulate what an elk quarter would be, and you should be able to manhandle that sandbag. So head over to GoRuck, use the discount code ELKHUNT, save yourself some loot, check out their sandbags, check out their rucksacks, and check out their weight vest. Interrupting the pod, tell you about the pack I'm running in 2025. This is from Initial Ascent. This is the 5K, quick and easy adjustment for your torso height, as well as the lumbar pad, a bulletproof frame that is built in Boise, Idaho. They also have women's and children's sizes, oversized lid, U-shaped zipper for easy access. You can pull the bag away from the frame with 4 clicks. remove the bag to access your panniard. Stack your meat right up against the frame, wrap the panniard over. There's also a sleeve in here. You can even day hunt out of this if you'd like. You can also hook more meat on the side of each of the rifle holders to put your pack well over 100 pounds, but keep you upright while you pack your meat back to the truck. You can check out accessories like their rifle sling, hip belt pouch, Nalgene holder, dry bag. To customize this system to work best for you, head over to Initial Ascent. At checkout, enter the discount code ELKSHAPE to save you some loot. Hey guys, we're going to interrupt the pod today to bring you a little information about one of our new partners, Latitude Outdoors. I've been looking for a saddle partner for a long time, and I've been very picky. I finally found the one. Latitude, they're out of Michigan. They're just a bunch of regular blue-collar dudes who get after it for whitetail. And for me, I'm a huge whitetail guy. Some of you didn't know that. And I will be using these for out west whitetails in eastern Washington, North Idaho, western Montana, to name a few. But what you didn't know is that I'm going to be utilizing this for elk hunting as well, especially midday sits over wallows. Instead of taking a nap on the side of the mountain, I'm going to scurry up any tree I want at any pinch point, funnel, or wallow, and hopefully stack the odds in my favor when it comes to punching that out west elk tag. Same thing for spring bear over bait. A lot of times I've only had one tree stand set up for bears, and when the wind is wrong or the prevailing's off, I can't sit it. Now I can sit any tree at the bait that's appropriate for the current wind. And thermals and prevailing change a lot in the mountains, as you guys know. So getting elevated, super lightweight climbing sticks, awesome platform, the Maverick saddle. Check out Latitude Outdoors. Back to the pod.
So this is the bread and butter. This is the 80, the LP combo. This is our stander, like I said, right? You can stand behind it. Everything's inverted, so everything's right here. So I'm not having to go reach way down here and adjust my stuff. It's all right at the head. My center column's the head. All the legs are right here. Super strong. I'm able to keep it. My thing is like, I could go make a tripod that's a lot lighter, but it wouldn't be as stable. So I want ultra light, but also ultra stable.
Right.
Because I feel like it's kind of like shooting I could shoot a 40-pound bow a lot easier than I could shoot an 80-pound bow. But like, if it doesn't do the job, why do I want to do that? Right. If I'm not going to penetrate a shoulder, why do I want to do that? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So this tripod, it's ultra light, but it's ultra stable because of the inverted legs. So by inverting it, we're able to keep the top, the aluminum part, which is the weight is, small. Does that make sense? Because
yes.
having the big leg up here is all smaller, and it gives you the super stability because the fat leg's on the bottom. So that's why we sell so many of them. And then this is the LP pan head, the head that started it all for us. The head that, is my go-to. I'm going to Hawaii for a month next week. This will be the setup I'm bringing with me. It just does everything, right? So the average dude now, I would say the most, I want to say the hardcore dudes, but the hardcore dudes are going down to like a 60 millimeter, 56 millimeter spotter. Would you agree, backcountry guys?
Definitely.
Because you don't need an 85 millimeter spotter anymore.
I'm not packing one.
I'm not. They take up too much space. So this right here will handle 85 all day long. But where it really shines is those like 15 by 56 binos, the 12 power binos, and then your 60 millimeter spotter. For the guy who's using binos, majority of the time throwing a spotter on, do some digiscoping, etc.
Yeah.
This will handle it. This is pretty much what you need. Everyone thinks I go and like use like all my heads, or which I do because I have to field test. But like if I had to pick like one enjoyable setup to use, it's this one here.
Okay.
I can glass bind it for hours. It's all you could go like my heads, every one of them wherever you put it stops. It doesn't do that thing where you go down and
I hate that.
Where you have to like start it above an animal, then it drops onto the animal. You know what I mean? Like
I hate that, man.
None of my heads do that. They're all smooth as butter.
Okay.
And again, it weighs 4 ounces. So that's the bread and butter right here. I could have stopped with this, and it's been like, dude, done. Awesome money the rest of my life, done. Right? But I can't because I'm a psychopath. I have to keep innovating. So we also have like our BC tripod, which I don't have one here. It's our short version. We have our BP pan head, which is our big pan.
So I don't have a BC here?
You don't have a BC here, and you don't have my BP pan head here. We'll just figure out whatever you need, and I'll get them to you.
Did Tyler steal those?
I don't know. He said he didn't have a BP. I don't know what you guys have. I'm not sure.
I just don't think we have it then.
I could talk to Yolanda, figure it out.
Okay.
But this is basically a BP here. So, but the BP is a head, right? Because everyone was using like the VA5, weighs 20 ounces. It's a photography head,
okay,
right? That you're trying to make work for hunting. That's what everyone's been doing for years, using Monfrado heads, Suray heads, and trying to make it work for hunting. And I wanted to make a head specifically for hunting. So you look at this head here, we cut everything out of it.
Yeah.
Right? And made it weigh 12 ounces for the BP. The DZ, which is this head here, D's nuts, weighs 14 ounces. So it's a fluid pan head that'll handle any optic in the industry. Everyone wants to know like weight load rating. Marlon Holden is running freaking the Kawa Highlanders on that weigh 15 pounds.
Okay.
No problem, right? This is a Marlon's
Of course
running.
he is.
Dude, I'm trying to get the guy into a BTX. Marlon, if you listen to this, I love you. Get a BTX, bro. Come on, it's 2025, dude. But he loves those Highlanders, dude.
I guess.
He does. He packs them, man. The guy's in shape, bro. That guy, dude, that guy kills stuff. So anyways, the DZ, it's, 2 giant bearings rather than having to use like the small little knob and to fight it. It'll stop wherever you put it with a large optic on here. It was built specifically.
Really?
Oh, dude, I bought a 95 millimeter BTX and built this JC tripod and these heads based on that.
Okay.
Like I didn't go backwards. I didn't go try and find a tripod that worked for it. I built them from scratch for this.
Okay.
So the DZ, also unique about it is it has a ball built into it because everyone wants to shoot off their tripods. So a lot of guys are carrying ball heads into the field to glass off of, which is a nightmare for me, like the worst. Like you want to build a grid, you can't grid off a ball head.
Not really.
Not at all. You want to build a grid. And then the thing is, you're probably going to spend 99% of your time glassing and you might shoot off your tripod, right? But if you do shoot off a tripod, now I patented this head where it's got a fluid head with a ball built into it. So now you can put your rifle on here and cant your rifle, get all your stuff you need to do, level out, make the shot.
So if your rifle has an ARCA, that's how they're hooking in?
With an ARCA or with a gun clamp. I have gun clamps as well that you can buy that you can get the GC gun clamp.
Oh, okay, that's what they'll
and
need.
also for photography as well, like we talked about it earlier.
Like
right?
my camera guy over there. Should he be packing that head then?
Oh, 100%.
The DZ
100%, dude. Because
on an AD?
Yeah, DZ on an AD. If you're on a hill, I mean, he could even go with like a JC we'll talk about in a minute, take the weights out of it, only weighs 3 pounds. It's a lot more stable than this tripod, it's bigger legs.
Got it.
Right, so we'll go to the JC. So the JC tripod is, again, built specifically for the big optics. And the cool thing about this tripod is it weighs 3 pounds and it weighs 7 pounds. It has weights built into the legs so you can take out. So no one's ever done that before. And now I have the patent on that. I've actually taken that technology, put it into my shooting tripods as well, because again, I'm a psycho. So once I do something, it keeps evolving.
I see.
So this tripod here has the weights in it. It weighs 3 pounds or 7 pounds. It's got bigger legs. I pack it with no weights all the time. I'm not really big on the weights because I'm always backpacking.
Okay.
But at 3 pounds, it's lighter than most stuff out there. And the cool thing about this tripod is it has micro adjustments built into it. So I can adjust myself up with it there.
Oh, that's nice.
And the really cool thing is the panning. So I could turn this knob and I could pan. So when it comes to glassing, I have never found more deer in my life until I started using this tripod.
That makes a lot of sense.
And
like you're talking coups, desert coups.
Desert coups, dude. Like I'm a psycho. Like I glass. Like so in the morning, this might not be necessary. In the morning, I'm glassing.
You gotta
cover, spinning around on a knob. I get on a knob, I'll spend 3 hours on a knob. And then when it comes to like 9:30, everything's bedding down. Get those BTX out, or get the high dollar optics out. Start micro panning. I'm looking through bushes and looking for something that doesn't fit. And the cool thing is, yes, it's a $750 tripod. Well, I took that technology and I designed what's called the Tricer 360. And it's a $150 attachment that weighs 6 ounces. You can add micro panning to any tripod. That's available now on my website. My partners were like, dude, don't do that. You're going to take away from these sales. But you can't, I'm like, you can't look at it like that. Like, I can't keep this from people. This is too special, right? Like the Bipod's blowing up. I think the 360 is probably the greatest thing to happen to glassing in the last 20 years. Like the 360 is like, it's incredible. It adds that micro panning to any tripod, whether you're running an Outdoorsman's or a Sue or whatever. I don't care what your mutant gear or a freaking ASIAC. Put my 360 on it, and now you can micro pan and this grid super slow. Every time you turn this knob, it's 5 degrees of panning.
So how would you put your 360 on a different tripod?
It's a little adapter like this. It threads onto your tripod, and then all my heads are ARCA, so they slip right into it, and you can lock it in and pan. Or you can put it on top of your tripod, which I don't like. People do it. The problem with me, when you put it on top of your tripod, you have to index it, right? You have to index where you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. I like having it on the bottom. Lock your pan head into it.
Okay.
Done.
What I like about ASIAC versus yours, and I know I told you this yesterday, but I'll say it publicly, is like I like how it when I like fold it up, it's like, I guess we'll call it its footprint. It's just better, compact, like it just packs better.
Yeah.
Are you going to adjust that? Is that your goal?
There's stuff in the works to adjust that
The
goal.
smile on your face says it all. Okay.
To adjust that goal. There's stuff in the works, maybe for later this year.
Right.
To address that. So yeah,
okay.
He makes great stuff. Like I like Rydell.
He's awesome.
I like Rydell. I do.
He's a cool dude.
We've talked to kind of, had a little bit of differences, but we talk and he's a Christian dude. I support AZIAC. Want to go buy AZIAC? Go buy a freaking AZIAC tripod, dude. He's a Christian guy. I support him.
That's cool.
Like I have his back.
It's tough saying you're a Christian publicly because I'm gonna tell you, I've done it, and then people will think, oh, well, then you should be better than the way you're behaving.
Yeah.
I.e., for me, like I use profanity and I'm pretty good at it, and people are like, well, you say you're Christian, but so I guess I do want to take a time out and let people know, like, hey, man, like when you profess you're a man of faith, what you're saying is like you're recognizing that you definitely fall short of God's glory every day. Like I'm not making an excuse like, oh, well, it's justified at God's grace. I can act like a jerk, or I can be rude to this person, or I can slander, defame, or use certain words. No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying is like, this is his faith. This is where he gets his values. That's the way I'm understanding your meaning when you like publicly say, hey, I'm a Christian.
Oh, dude, like I've walked into, so I did a year of Bible college right when I got saved.
Okay.
I wanted to go to ministries full time, and all my best friends are all like senior pastors in my church now, lead pastors, and I felt like God called me to business. I didn't understand it until now.
Okay.
Like, I understand now why I was called to business, because God wants to use this to invest in the kingdom of God, right? And like every meeting I've ever walked into, even when I was in my other industry, I'd say I'm a Christian. Hey man, I'm a Christian. Like I just throw it out there, man. Like I never had.
It's what you said within 5 minutes of me meeting you yesterday.
I've never had people come to me and say like, I'm not gonna be friends with you because you're a Christian. Like, no, dude, like I'll pray for you. I will call you. I sent you some scripture this morning, right?
Yeah,
we were talking about something. I'm like, hey, dude, Dan, this is exactly what you told me yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into what we were talking about, but it was like spot on biblical truths.
Yeah.
Right there. Proper hermeneutics is looking at the Bible and having it, reflect on what you're saying, right? It has to, test the word, and testing the word of what you said yesterday. Like it is, God confirmed it this morning in that scripture. Right. And I fully believe that Tricer is God ordained. And like, dude, I came out with 15 new products last year. I can't stop. That's not natural. 15? Oh, easily.
I can't even keep up with you, and I sell some of your stuff on my website.
Easily 15 last year.
I can't even keep track.
Right? It's like it's God ordained, and like I believe that God's hand is in my business. That's why we give percentages of our sales to my foster ministry. That's why I tithe. Like I feel like God has a call for this business. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but He's in it. Like it's not natural to have a mind like mine when it comes to designing. It's not natural. Like,
so you are the lead designer.
I am the designer.
You are the designer. But you say you have partners.
I have partners, yeah.
Like multiple?
2 partners.
Okay. So
pretty silent. One of them runs like all my books, runs like the day-to-day stuff for me. The other one's pretty silent. 2 of my best friends, we've been in business together for 14 years. Our parent company is Trinity Innovate, and now Trinity Assets owns Tricer. We just work together forever. We very much round each other out very well, right?
Sounds like you have to.
You have to
make it work.
And to work for 14 years together, right?
Yeah.
Like, trust me, we have our issues, but at this time of my life, like that's why, like I called Matt, like I just call him and say, hey, I have an issue with what you said, right? Like I'm very much like I'm mature enough in my relationship with these guys where I can call someone and be like, hey, dude, we were on that meeting and you talk crap about me using my credit card, like that hurt. Like, what do you expect me to do? You know what I mean? Like, or whatever it is. Like, it's just throwing examples out there, right? Or,
right.
Like I'm at a point where we could call each other. We're like brothers. Yes, we get mad at each other. Yes, we have issues with each other.
Yeah.
But that's
probably healthy.
It's very healthy to have that, right? Like there's gonna be times where like my partner will call me and he'll be like, dude, like you need to watch what you say. Like you said this. And I'm like, and when someone says correction to me, like I don't take it as like offensive.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it and be like, oh, it's probably right. We ran each other out very well. Like I always say, like, I'm obviously the mustache of Tricer, right? I'm the mustache. I'm the innovator, but like I have 2 partners, like my partner Paul, who's like very good at being an a-hole, right? Like if I need him to go talk to an influencer or deal with a business owner, he's not afraid to say the hard questions, which I hate to say. I hate asking those questions. Like, hey, where are my deliverables? Hey, where's this? Like I let him handle that because he loves
his strength.
He's his strength. He loves asking those questions. He loves asking awkward things, right? Like he does do, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like on the numbers side, I think my partner Brock is just one of the best business minds I know.
Okay.
Right? Like he's just a phenomenal business mind. He can look at like the monthlies and like understand everything there and catch things that I don't catch, right? Like the last thing I want to do is look at numbers. Like it's the last thing all I wanted to do is design and hunt, be the face.
Oh, that's awesome. You sound like me as far as ELKSHAPE goes. Like I don't look at numbers.
Yeah.
All I want to do, and I told you this yesterday because you've had some questions for me and my business, and I'm trying to explain to Drew from Tricer that I am very simple human being. Like, I want you to leave here going, oh, he really does just care about faith, family, fitness, and elk hunting.
Yep.
You know, and that's it. I'm not caught up in my business and this and that, and I'm not a money chaser. I tried to make that very clear to you. It's just not what I chase. If I wanted to chase money, I wouldn't be in the hunting industry. To be quite honest, I'd be in a different industry, the fitness industry.
Oh yeah,
like the mainstream fitness industry. I'm not into that, man. I just want to be in the mountains as much as possible, raise some good kids that fear the Lord.
That's me, 100%. That's me, and that's why I spend so much time in the field, and my partners allow me to do that.
Yeah.
Right? And I have, like, yes, I design everything. Yes, it all comes out of my head, but I have no, like, jealousy towards my partners. Like, it's just like we were partners. That's how God put us together. The company's called Trinity, and we work together to build this business together, right? And we have our strengths, and, like, the triune God, Trinity, right? So the name has been the name for 14 years.
Yeah, I got a Trinity on my into my arrow.
We work, we balance each other out. And
yeah.
Yes, we have our differences, but that's healthy. It's like a marriage, right? Like, yes, me and my wife fight, but we balance each other out, and we need each other to do things, right? Like, I could not homeschool 5 kids without my incredible wife. She's phenomenal. She's amazing, right? My wife couldn't pay a bill for the life of her. It stresses her out. Like, I'm like, I need to call a doctor. It stresses her out. But I'll tell you what, I go and homeschool my kids. I feel like I'm going to throw them through a wall trying to teach math to a 5th grader.
Yeah,
right. Like, I don't, like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a bad dad. I'm like, what? I can't do this. I'm a bad dad. We need to get a freaking tutor in here because, like, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how she does it. Like, how do you homeschool a 5-year-old who's like a psycho and like rides dirt bikes through the house and jumps off everything and just flips, and you're trying to talk to him and he's like in his mind contemplating like how he's going to grab that knife and like throw it through the drywall or something. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, she balances me out. Right. And my partners balance me out. I think it's important to do it.
And then we were talking about marriage and how hard it is yesterday because it is work. And I wasn't trying to complain, but I was trying to explain the dichotomy of like, hey, honey, this is my wife talking to me. You're doing such a good job, like providing, you're busting your ass. Your family really appreciates this. But on the other side of the token, it's like, however, or it's always like, but you're not home enough.
Yeah, dude.
You're not home early enough. You leave before we even get out of bed, and then you come home at dinner, and then you never check out of work. Like, and you're always a little bit like hardwired to be, I wouldn't say stressed out, just what's that term where you're just like, it's tough for me to turn it off.
You can't turn it off.
Like, it's tough to turn it off.
Especially in a 365 business like ELKSHAPE or Tricer that runs 365 days a year, 24 hours a day.
Right.
Where you're getting messages and you're getting emails, right? I work overseas a lot. So, like, they're opposite times of me.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
It's opposite times, dude. So it's like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. or my overseas time. You know what I mean? And then, like, I could travel. Like, I have the coolest job in the world, dude. Like, I'm hanging out with freaking Dan Staton right now.
That's not that cool, man.
I'm up in Washington, hanging out with you, shooting bows with you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Doing a workout. That was a good workout
dude.
yesterday.
Yeah, I get my butt kicked by Dan. You know what I mean. I'm hanging out with like Ryan Lampers or Brian Call or whoever, Cody. Like, dude, like I had the Brady Miller last week. We were out shooting together, right? Like, I had the coolest job in the world. I could be gone the rest of my life. But if I gain the whole world and lose my family,
yeah, what have you done?
What have I done? I failed, right? And my wife is good at that. Me, like, you do say, like, husbands know this. You're never good enough, right? Like, I do devotions with my kids, take my kids on a date, take my wife on a date every week, and it's still like, but, and you're just like, yeah, as a husband, you just get all pissed off. You're like, what? Nothing's ever good enough, right? But like,
but it's true.
But it's true. It's true, right? Like, we were like straight up, like we were going to marriage counseling last couple months to kind of like, figure this new life out. Because in my mind, it was like, when I'm home, I'm home. But she's like, you're not. You're home. You're on, right? Like, we got to figure this out. And it's trying to balance this whole new life out, right? Where I hired on Mike Hearns working for Tricer now, right? And Alex Millworth working for Tricer now, right?
Yeah.
And I just hired a executive assistant because Tricer's bursting at the seams. It's going to triple again this year, 100%. Like, we had our biggest month ever was in February, which is unheard of.
How many shows did you do
in February?
Yeah,
none. Well, when was
Western Hunt Expo?
Was it February?
Yep.
Yeah, we did Western Hunt in February. Yeah.
That was it?
That was it. Yeah.
And you had your best month of sales.
Yeah. Shows are, dude, like, I could do much better not doing a show. I mean, we crushed Western Hunt. We did really good at Western Hunt. But, like, honestly, like, you could, it's relationship for me, right? Going to get in relationships, meeting vendors, being there.
So who's buying all these tripods in the month of February, man? That's crazy.
Dude, it's crazy.
Shouldn't that be June, July?
Oh, July, August, September. I mean, we crush in those months. Like, so you look at it and you're like, holy crap, if February's that big, like we're easily going to triple this year. And it's very easy to get caught up in that, right? Like I'm going to Hawaii for a month next week with my family. I'm going to hunt a lot. I come back from that, and 2 days later I fly to Africa. Come back from that, we're doing 6 tacks. I'm not going to go to all of them.
You probably shouldn't if you want to stay married.
So I'm like, I'm going to send, Mike to that stuff, right? I'm hiring guys that literally go hunting for me and shooting for me.
Yep.
Right? And be the face with me. Like, it's getting too big. It's getting too big for me to handle. And I want to be a good husband. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I want to. I spent like probably, 80 days in the field last year hunting.
That's a lot, dude.
A lot of time, right? On hunts and doing stuff. And I literally, like, if I don't check myself, I could be gone forever hunting, right? Like, I love it. Like, I could be gone all the time, right? And like,
I know. I'm in the same boat,
There's so many tags. My wife's like, maybe we try 1 tag a month versus 3. Right? Like, I kind of got a little out of control last year. I drew a lot of stuff. Plus, my kids draw things. And plus, now I'm getting invited to go. Like, everyone's grabbing at me, right? Like, I'm a popular dude now in the industry. Like, I'm getting invited to go do this stuff. And, hey, let's go to Hawaii. Hey, let's go to Baja. Hey, let's go to Alaska. Let's go, And, again, you don't want to gain the whole world and lose your soul, lose your family.
you're going to have to learn how to say no.
So you got to learn how to say no to stuff like that and send other people on it and not do it. And that's what I'm trying to learn how to balance out is that side of it, right? Is being with my kids. And a lot of times I do bring my kids, like 3 months last year, my boys went off me. One of each boy went off with me. They're all filmed. And I got to that time with them. But at the same time, my wife's at home with, even though that is work. So hunting is work. For ELKSHAPE, Dan hunting, you can't be ELKSHAPE unless you're killing stuff, unless you're out in the field running the hills, dude. Like, you can't be ELKSHAPE.
We do give her hell.
You have to give her hell, right? You have to do it. But what your wife sees is Dan, like my wife will tell me, you're out gallivanting around in Mexico. And I'm like, well, actually, I'm in Mexico with All In, Shed Crazy, all these guys, my partners. Like, it's a business trip. But on your wife's eyes, it's like, it's really hard to balance that, right? Yes, it is work. But at the same time, yes, it is really cool. Right? So how do I balance that out? How do I be a great dad and do this stuff, right? And 1 month in Hawaii isn't enough to justify 11 months gone.
No, you're right. And it's true. I will tell you, like, this summer, I'm already getting all these events and things lined out.
We're going fishing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to say no to that. I'm not going to do it. Initial Scent wants me to do this thing where we do Roby Creek in Boise. And they've sent me like 3 different options. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to Banff with my family. That's already planned. Nope, we're camping in Montana. It's already planned. Nope, that's my wife's 40th birthday week. Not weekday, or not day, but 40th birthday week. So fortunately, I'm just telling you, I got in front of I have given up summers. Like, a summers is not about me at all. I don't scout for elk like I'd like to. I will do a tack or 2 tops. And that is a negotiation, but I get it out in the calendar way in advance, just like all my hunts. I put all my hunts, even though every time I write down a hunt, my wife's just like, really? It's like, yep, let's do this. Let's just get it out of the way now, because that's happened. And so I'm not saying yes to anything in the summer. Like, I will turn down a lot of great business opportunities because it just doesn't matter. Like, so, and I'm at 43. I've learned that I'm not chasing dollars. And so so I can just say no. So I'm not going fishing with you. I know I'm going to be in Banff National Park with my family. It's already scheduled. So get that shit on the calendar as soon as possible. And then you'll have to say no, because it's like, you can't be at both places at once. 100%. That's what's worked for me, at least, I should say.
And I do try and do things, right? Like, I brought my wife to sheep show. I brought my wife and one of my kids to Western Hunt. I brought them to a tack last year. Like, my father-in-law drew a bull tag in Arizona this year, late rifle. I'm going to rent a house, right? Bring them over with me, bring the wife and the mother-in-law over there.
That's sick.
So they kind of get there with me, you know what I mean? So I have the ability to do that now, right? Like, we talk about, I have a bunch of points on my credit card.
Especially homeschooled too, you know?
They can go wherever. Yeah, like, exactly. Like, we're going to Hawaii for a month together, right? And like, I'm just bringing a bow. I'm going to bring the podcast equipment. That's it. Like, I'm not leaving the island. Like, I've been gone every week, dude, forever.
Did you rent a place for a whole month?
Yeah.
You can do that?
Yeah, on VRBO. Yeah, it was like $7,000 for a month.
For 1 month.
$7,000.
Checking out
for a month.
And then all your airline miles paid for the flights.
Oh yeah. Paid for the flights.
And you got Wi-Fi?
House. We got Wi-Fi. Got a podcast equipment, 5-bedroom house on the, I'll go hunting a few days a week with my bow. I'm going to buy a target like another. I have told you I haven't been shooting my bow at all. I'm going to buy a target, shoot my bow every day, just have, you know, that nice, peaceful, like no more shooting. I've been shooting rifles because I'm designing all this stuff. And again, I want to respect NRL like 4 days a week. I went to a course last weekend.
That's a lot of work.
I'm doing a bunch of courses, like PR NRL courses to learn how to shoot long range. None of that. No rifles are going, just the bow, just one tripod, pair of binoculars. That's it. And just checking out for a month.
And you and the wife and the kids.
Wife and the kids. That's it. No one's coming over. I was going to have Cody come over. I'll go to my wife is like, nope.
Cody Rich?
Yeah. And I was like, okay.
You guys would talk too much business.
We would.
You couldn't turn it off.
I can't turn it off. I mean, Cody is my best friend in the hunting industry.
Yes.
Like the best, like one of the best entrepreneurs of our time. And he's a redneck engineer like me. And Cody is doing awesome things with this new company, Bridger, which isn't totally out there yet. But trust me right now, Cody Rich is going to turn the freaking watch industry upside down. I am rooting for you, Cody.
That's cool.
I want nothing but the best for him, dude. He's going to crush it. Love that guy to death.
Yeah.
If you want to talk bad about Cody, you're probably going to get punched. I'm just telling you. I love the guy.
I told you he probably is just the smartest business guy I've encountered.
Yeah.
You know, like too smart. Like he's on a different level for me.
It just excites him. So
I'm a
we enjoy building businesses,
Yeah.
right? Like that's what I was telling you last night is like, I'm not building a product, I'm building a business. And I'm building like a synergy within my business. And like, that's what gets me excited is like building that business, building that brand. I want to be a Black Rifle Coffee Company. I want to be a SIG or a Vortex. I want everyone to know who I am. I want to be that size. I don't want to be Joe's tripod shop. There's a lot of Joe's tripod, Joe's knife, Joe's whatever.
Sure.
I want to be Matthews. Like that's what I want to be. And why can't I be it? And that's we live in the greatest country in the world and I can be that. But at the same time, I got to make sure I'm a good dad first. Because if I gain that, have all the money in the world, which money isn't important to me, and my kids don't know Jesus, or my kids don't love me, or they don't talk to me, or or if my daughter says something like, dude, I feel like I don't even know you, like that hurts.
Oh yeah.
Especially her, right? Like we go on a date every single week, and my daughter's the most beautiful thing God ever made. Every flipping boy at that church has a crush on my daughter. It's unreal. And she loves telling me all about it. Like she's 14 years old. She's little blonde, blue-eyed, looks just like her mother.
Oh, I hate it.
Oh, she's stunning. From the day she was born, I knew I was in trouble. Right? But man, like if I don't have a relationship with her, like what's the point of all this?
Dude, that's so cool to hear. I booked a date this morning with my daughter.
Did you?
She got up early today, and I stuck around a little extra longer this morning. I'm usually gone, and I was like, what are you doing up, Avery? Why are you awake? And she's like, oh, I'm going over to my friend's house. We're gonna all walk to school together. I've never heard her say that before, but like, okay. I was like, cool. I was like, well, what are you doing after piano lessons? And she's like, nothing. I was like, how about you and me go do something? And she's like, yes. And then I got to hear her run and like
tell her mom
how excited. And I was like, oh shit, like. There's going to be a day not very long where like that's not that cool to her. So I'm going to take advantage.
I want to be, my daughter's 14. I want to be the first guy she dates.
Oh,
so like keep that in mind.
Do this to me.
So
that's
like
so good.
I don't want to choke you up or anything, but dude, like you want to be the first guy she dates.
Yep.
I want to be the example of what a husband should be, a man should be in her life. And like, that's like the most important thing to me. And my boys are phenomenal boys, right? Like one boy's often doing missions right now over in Hawaii. He's going to Kazakhstan.
Which is crazy to me.
He's going to Kazakhstan, right? And he's going to go to college this fall, Christian school, super conservative kid, right? My 16-year-old, he's phenomenal. He's in all these ministries. He's going to go live in Africa for a year when he graduates. We're going to go to Africa together this fall, which, dude, talk about sacrifice. I'm going to Kenya for missions in October. From like October 23rd to like November 7th, bro. You can't ask for a worse time for a rifle hunter to go out of town. Dude, I'm telling you right now, I said this last week on Go Hunt podcast, God is going to give me a phenomenal tag this fall to make up for this. Because, like, I know God wants me to go, and I'm like, I'm going. I'm going.
You better obey.
I'm going. Like,
or you'll learn the hard way.
Well, the last time I went 2 years. This was my son's third time going. The last time I went, I ended up creating my AP Arca plate, and we sell, like, thousands a month, right? And it was like, I drew on a napkin, made this thing, and we sell a ton. So it's like, oh, and I'm not saying I'm going for that reason. I just know that like if God's calling me to go do mission and stuff, plus it's so rejuvenating to do something outside of yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Like we have 100,000 kids in ministry a week over in Kenya. My church does. And you go over there and you go into a school and there's 4,000 freaking Kenyans out there and you're doing literally kids and you're doing lessons with them, right? And seeing my 14-year-old, now he's 16, preach to those kids, like that's empowering, right? That's beautiful. That's what I want to do. It's way bigger than me going and hanging out with Dan, no offense. and showing you some tripods, right? You know, I could do that any day of the week, but going to see God do something like that and work in someone's life and I got to preach at a church over there, right? A dirt church, dude, dirt church, no ceiling. They're praying for a roof on their church. I got to do a conference with like pastors from all over Eastern Africa, right? From Uganda and Ethiopia and Kenya. I got to preach to like hundreds of those guys and like give them a whole lesson series for 8 hours one day. Like that's incredible, right? And that's so much bigger than me shooting a bull or shooting a deer. Like I can shoot a deer any day of the year, right? I mean, I can go freaking fly to Australia and shoot a deer in June. Like it's like you can do that anywhere, but going to do that and being used by God, like that's cool.
Wow.
I don't want to lose that. You know what I mean? But anyways, back to like dating your daughter and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, the kids are the most important part, man. Like you got to give them that time, and it's hard to, especially when you have 5 of them.
Yeah.
It's hard to give them all the time, right? It's hard to be a good dad. It's hard to be gone and come back and still, you know, not want to like, I'm going to get home from this trip and be exhausted tomorrow. But I get home, my wife's going to think, let's go to the beach. Let's do something with the kids. Like I got a podcast 7 a.m. Then tomorrow we'll probably go to the beach. You know what I mean? Like,
You're going to pod that early in the morning?
I pod 7 a.m. tomorrow, yeah.
Who you podcast with tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I think it's Burrow Mountain Rifles.
Burrow Mountain Rifles?
Burrow.
Oh, Burrow.
Burrow Mountain Rifles. It's one of the, oh, no, you know, it's this moose hunting guy out of Maine. That's who it is tomorrow. Burrow Mountain's on Friday.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, but like regardless, like I'm grinding. I'll get up in the morning. I'll bust that pod out. I'll probably go to the gym, and then I'll go to the beach with the kids, do something with the kids, right? You know what I mean? Like it's just important to have that time with them, right? Like
yes.
I was talking about Sunday night. I went to the movies. Just me and the kids. We all went to the movies together, right? Just get my wife some time away from the kids as well.
That's key.
And same thing I was telling you last night because you said you weren't doing it, dude. Like going on a date with the wife once a week.
Yeah.
Strategizing right against the enemy, which is your kids. Yeah. Those freaking kids, dude.
They are.
Like, I don't want to say, like, you get what I mean when I say the enemy. Like, these kids are out there to get you, dude. Like, especially you get teenagers in the house.
Yeah.
Bro, like, my 18-year-old, like, it was like, I love you, dude, but you got to go.
It's time.
It's time. Like, it's weird because when they're 18, you know, like, they're men, but they're not men. Like, they're men, but then they're Venmoing you for money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, can you pay for this? Like, he got his license over in Hawaii. Like, he give me $815 for my hunting license. I'm like, no, bro. You're 18, dude. I just paid for all your points in freaking Arizona. It cost $300. No, you can pay for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, it's just.
You're the easy button, man. Like, hey, Dad, can I get that loot? Yeah, no.
Dude, those Venmo requests from that kid, but which is fine. Like, I love to be in the position where I can support him to go do ministries, right?
Sure.
I love to be in a position where I didn't have that option, dude. Like, it was like, you're going to work for my sheet metal company, and that's it. You're not going to go to college because if you go to college, like, you know what I mean? Like, how's the company going to work?
So you not doing that was probably pretty scary decision for you. How's that affected your relationship with your dad?
Oh, my dad doesn't talk to me.
To this day?
To this day. Since, I mean, we saw each other at Christmas.
Like you got a head nod?
No, we talked. We were at Christmas.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, we talk a little bit like business stuff. He'll call me about some stuff, but
okay.
He's definitely upset that I left.
Still doesn't understand? Doesn't see the big picture?
I don't think he has any idea what Tricer's doing.
Okay.
No clue how big this company is or how big it's getting or why I had to leave.
Is he still involved with the sheet metals?
Yeah.
How old is your dad?
64.
Does he want to sell it?
I don't want to say things on the air.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I was like, if my
People
dad had,
listen.
I'm like, Dad, come on, let's sell that thing. Let's get some buyers out there.
I didn't leave him in a bad spot. Let's put it that way.
Oh, cool.
I didn't leave him in a bad spot by any means, but I just knew this. What I had to do was do this. I wish I had a relationship with my dad. I mean, I don't have a relationship with my mom either, really, because she's just constantly been a screw up my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
It's let me down so many times. My dad's passion is work. That's it. One time I see him is work. Even when I was working there, it was just we'd see each other and we'd work together. That's it. Like we never would go fishing together, never do anything together. Like that's not the relationship I want to have with my kids. I want my kids to be able to do whatever God calls them to do. I don't want them to work for Tricer. I want them to, they can if they want to, but like I'd rather them, if someone wants to be a lawyer, I want to do whatever I can to help him go to college. I'll pay for that college for him and bless him in that so he can go be a lawyer, right? Sure. Some of my kids probably going to be construction workers, like just not that smart. You know what I mean? Like whatever, you know what I mean? Like that's me.
That's a good living though, man.
Me, dude. It's a good, it's like
if my son's a construction worker, I'd be like,
I'm
be
not
the
knocking,
best
I'm
one
not
you
knocking
can.
construction. I was in construction for 20 years. I'm just making a joke. You know what I mean? Like they're just not, they're more.
Whatever they decide, I want you to try your hardest.
They're relying on their good looks. Let's put it that way. These kids, you know what I mean? They're gonna be like salesmen and stuff. They're not gonna be out there grinding. Like my 18-year-old's a psycho. He's like a 4.4 GPA. He loves reading books. He's like reading all these freaking really boring books. He's driven for that side of it, right? He's a brainiac. He's also, he's power lifter. He's very much in shape, in the gym every day. Like, he's got his own little thing going. But I just want my kids to do whatever they want to do. If they want to, whatever, be a nurse, be a firefighter, be a freaking go to be a missionary, I want to be able to support them in that however I can and let God do what he wants in their life, not force them into what I think they should be.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what happened with me, right? Which dude, if it wasn't for my dad, like my dad's a hardworking dude I've ever met. Like, if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't have the ethic I have today. I learned so much from him. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I love my dad to death. I stay with my dad till the end. Like, yes, he's not perfect, but you know what? When everyone else was gone, he was always there for me, right? In the way he could. And he grew up beaten, abused, stepdads, like, rough. I mean, from nothing, right? Went from being the, biggest Coke dealer in San Diego to owning the biggest sheet metal shop. You know what I mean? The guy's self-made, dude. Like, from the streets, fighter, right? Again, that's where I get that anger that, like, hey, you want to punch me? I'm going to punch you back, right? Which I'm trying to learn how to harness.
It's a blessing.
That.
It's a curse.
It's a blessing and a curse. So I've learned a lot from him. And it's just,
I get that.
I wish we had a better relationship. I wish we could, like, I'll try. Like, every time I talk to my dad, hey, I love you. I tell him that. I don't think he likes me saying that. Hey, I love you, man.
Keep it up. Pour fire on it.
And I'll try and, like, hey, let's go fishing. Like, he won't go fishing with me. We'll go fishing with, like, employees, right? Or his friends. But it's like, hey, let's go do something together. There's a lot of resentment there. I think there's a lot of resentment with Tricer there.
Yeah.
I think he thinks I screwed him over by not taking over his company. Which, and trust me, dude, I had many family members calling me like, what are you doing? Why are you walking away? And I'm like, you don't understand. You don't understand where I'm going. Nobody understands where I'm going, right? Dad doesn't know where I'm going. Only person who knows where I'm going is me and God, right? And I know where I want to be, like how big this thing is going to be. And I'm on that wave right now. I'm going to ride it out and I'm going to get there. And it's the best thing I ever did. I'll never be an employee again. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I totally understand.
I'll never be an employee again.
I don't think you are employable.
I'm not employable anymore. Like,
I don't think you are.
I will continue to innovate, continue to build businesses, do what I'm doing, and man, just live my best life.
If people are new to you and they're listening or watching on YouTube right now, where would you like them to go to, like, learn more? Is it your website? Is it a certain podcast episode? Or where do you feel like your media is best served? Is it on YouTube? So I have a podcast, the Tricerpod podcast. It's very entrepreneurial and hunting focused. So I bring a lot of other business owners on. I get to get the dirt out of them, of like the grind. Yep. So if you're into entrepreneurship and hunting, Tricerpod podcast is pretty great. Cool. Bring a lot of people on and talk about that stuff. I do have my YouTube, Tricer USA, because Tom Ricer owns Tricer. Everybody, not Tom Ricer, give it up, big dog. Give it up, bro. What's your price? It might be Travis, right? It's some sort of T Ricer, the guy's name, but whatever. You get it, right? I like it. Tyler, Travis, Tom, whatever, dude. Whatever this guy's out there. If you can get that guy to sell me this thing. What's your point? What's your price, bro? What's your price point, bro? Get on here. If you know that guy on Instagram, get him over here. So follow me on Instagram, Tricer USA. And then Tricer.com is our website. And then also, if you want to buy my stuff, dude, like, go buy it on the ELKSHAPE page, man. What's your warranties like? We take care of you forever. We take care of it. We don't put in the box like Vortex, but, like, dude, we have guys run their stuff over all the time. I replace it. I have guys who will lose their head on a hunt because they don't use a head screw, and I'll send them a new head because you spend $300 on a pan head. I get it. It hurts, man. You're grinding. You're out there freaking, like, again, I was in construction for 20 years, bro. I had no money. I've been raising kids. I get it, man. You make that investment and you buy a pan head. It hurts when you lose it. I'll support you. I'll help you. Like, you're never going to see, we make good products and good customer service. That's all we got. And if we don't have those two things, we've lost everything. So, we want to help you, want to support you. So you break something, we're going to take care of it. I'm not saying our stuff's perfect, but we don't get a lot of returns. So if it breaks, we're going to take care of you. Awesome. If my team doesn't take care of you, message me on Instagram. I'll make sure you get taken care of. I love that. This is my buddy, Drew. He flew up here from California to hang out with us, to come on this pod, to share his story. I can't thank you enough for your time. It means the world to me, guys. Separation is in the preparation. Check out Drew Miles, Tricer.com. We'll catch you on the next one.